Yes, my people, welcome back. Ikanil Podcast. I'm TT.
PH.
And we're back again for another episode 47.
Yes,
Road
sir.
to 1K. Like, comment, subscribe. And follow us on the gram. S ain't with us today, but he's going to be back next week. You know what I'm saying? Show him love in the comments. But yeah, man. Straight into this episode.
Straight into it, man.
PH.
What's been happening with you, bro? Let's start there.
Bro, I'm blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about the World War III case, fam.
There's been crazy things happening in the past couple of weeks. For those who don't know, Russia launched an attack on Ukraine on the 24th of February, if I'm correct. I think that was a Thursday, but yeah.
What was the reason behind that?
So
for the people that don't know,
there's different speculations, but the main idea is that Putin wants to basically govern Ukraine, and he wants to prevent them from associating with NATO.
So what's NATO?
NATO stands for North Atlantic Organization, something. But it's basically an organization which regroups the Western countries and the main world powers, including the US, France, the UK, and that's how it first started. So initially, it was only a few countries, and the NATO was founded by the US, by the way, and it was a way of basically
alliance
teaming up with Europe, basically. So they created NATO and they started recruiting a couple countries in it. At first, it was a few, but then they started growing. And initially, from the get-go, like, Russia was never part of NATO. Okay, Russia used to be part of the Soviet Union, for those who don't know, which basically regrouped plenty of countries, including Ukraine. I think Poland was in it. Basically, the Eastern European countries, most of them were part of the Soviet Union. But then, around 1991, if I'm correct, the Soviet Union was basically abolished. Stopped in it because they just went bankrupt. They had plenty of issues.
Sorry to cut you though, but you see the NATO. What's the difference between NATO and NATO and United Nations?
It's similar, to be fair, but I feel like the UN is universal, whereas the NATO only applies to European countries and America.
Fair enough.
So yeah, the Soviet Union basically fell apart because they went bankrupt for different reasons. They had some wars going on in Afghanistan. They obviously there was the Chernobyl event. For those who don't know, there was a big nuclear incident which happened in Russia. And that kind of messed up the economy and everything just crumbled. So they broke apart and most countries ended up being independent. So all the countries that were initially part of the Soviet Union ended up being independent. But Russia kind of wanted to still have power and control over those countries which used to be part of the Soviet Union. But that's where NATO came and kind of stopped that.
So you see with the Soviet Union, Russia were like leading that, at the forefront.
Yeah, basically. Russia was the face of it, I believe. So yeah, that happened. NATO was founded by the US, like I said earlier, and it started growing. I think at some point in the history of all this, they had a deal with the Russian president at the time, which I think was Berbakov. I don't know how to pronounce him. It's not Russian, so don't get on to me. But yeah, he was the president at the time, and the deal they made with NATO was for them to not basically extend their alliance towards the Eastern European side. So initially it stopped at Germany. Germany was the last country on the west to be part of NATO, and they had a deal for it to not expand over that. But it was a deal that they made this is what Putin thinks, by the way. He thinks that there was a deal for NATO not to expand, and that deal was breached basically because NATO ended up recruiting or adding more countries to the organization, including Poland, all those countries in it. So I feel like Putin is kind of scared of the influence NATO could have on Europe basically as a whole, and he's trying to prevent that, and that's why he launched an attack basically.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, man, from my understanding, is like Putin thinks Ukraine shouldn't exist. That's what I was hearing from from my history, and my take on that is like, it's a bit wild, isn't it? That World War III could actually happen because apparently he broke a breach by sending an attack to them.
Yeah, literally.
He wasn't supposed to do that. He sent like an agreement that so he broke the breach. So shit can happen because of that. But also, I feel like, yeah, he's wrong in it. Like, he shouldn't be able to decide like if Ukraine should live or not. That's fucked up.
He always thought that Ukraine was part of Russia basically, and they should have never been different countries. But I feel like what he's really scared of is he's scared of Ukraine joining NATO eventually. But the thing is, Ukraine was gonna join NATO at some point, and the deal didn't happen. I don't know the exact details about that, but it ended up not happening. So
I'm thinking, you see what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. We say that's similar to, you know, the Palestine and Israel case. And you guys let us know what you think down below.
Yeah, kind of. It is, because obviously it's different, of course, but it's similar in terms of the one country is fighting to basically take control of another territory. In this case is Russia trying to govern.
So basically, from your points, I'm seeing it like Russia are kind of scared of the underdog. They feel like Ukraine could have some trip over the Slovaks, and that's why it wants to eradicate them or just rule them.
I don't think they're scared of Ukraine specifically. They're
more
scared of NATO, because obviously
so what's the countries in NATO?
The US. The main countries are the US, France. Is France in there? I think.
And let us know the countries down below that in NATO.
I think France isn't in NATO anymore, you know. But this, I don't know, I forgot. But the US and the UK is in it for sure, 100%. I think France is.
They're like brothers and sisters.
Exactly. So they're scared of the influence the US has, especially because, for those who don't know, the US and Russia have always kind of been rivals when it comes to everything, just like world power, innit?
100%,
always
bro.
The main world powers.
Fam, if you guys know about aerospace, you know that's a fact, bro. Like everything the US created, the Soviet Union created as well. It's mad as well, because when you even talk about the Soviet Union, I just thought that was another name for Russia. Excuse my ignorance, because that's literally all I heard was Soviet Union, Russia.
I mean,
it's mad.
That's what it was in a way, because Russia was the biggest country, part of the Soviet Union, and they probably had the greatest influence in the Soviet Union. So it works like that in a way, you know. But it's crazy. What's crazy is that, you know, the reason why we're even talking about this is, obviously, I feel like we would have discussed it anyways, because we talk about different topics, but this is something that could potentially affect everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally all of us. You know what I'm saying? Usually we watch these things on TV and we don't really feel like we're really implicated. But in this case, depending on what certain countries do that are part of NATO, this could lead to World War III, like you were saying.
So literally, let's talk about it going both ways, innit? So let's say if it does go left, what do you think will happen? And let's say if it does go right. Let's start with the left.
If it goes left, World War III, bro, and everyone's going to be involved, you're either going to be hiding in, like,
fighting with someone,
you know what I'm saying, in bunkers or whatever, or you're going to be fighting, bro.
I'm saying even countries-wise, like, what countries you think will back Russia? Because I was hearing stuff about China.
China might back Russia, yeah, for sure. Because
right now, US, UK, and...
it's Russia and China are kind of the two forces which are working against the West. So I feel like I see it as two different mindsets. There's the mindset of the West.
Common enemy.
there's the
No, carry on.
there's the mindset of the West, which is kind of like liberative in a way. As they have like, I don't know, I don't know if you lot know what liberals are, but they kind of believe that everyone should be equal, like equality of outcome and this and that. They have, and like these ideologies are completely different to those that the Russians have, innit? Russians are more
radical.
They're more traditional, I'd say. And same with China. I see China as the traditional government. So I'm saying they're more strict, they have more boundaries, I'd say. Whereas the West is more flexible with the way they think, and they kind of include everyone and allow everyone to just be.
Do you feel like that works against us? I feel like it does, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely works.
It's got its advantages and disadvantages.
Which one you prefer though? Be more traditional or westernized? Comment down below as well. Which one?
Depends, like this. Depends in what aspects, but I'd rather live in the West than in them countries, bro.
Yeah, because in China be crazy, bro. They be saying you can't use your car out late.
That's what I'm saying. We have more freedom over here, but obviously having too much freedom has its cons, innit?
Facts.
That's what I'm saying.
Too much of everything, it's dangerous.
Literally, and eventually it could lead to something unpleasant. That's what I'm saying.
Cap, fam.
But that's what it is. Literally, there's after Russia attacked Ukraine, they were basically punished by other countries. Measures were put in place to kind of weaken Russia because of the action. So one thing they did was to kind of prevent Russia from using SWIFT. So like
SWIFT banks.
Yeah, SWIFT banks. I don't really know the full details of that.
Hey, let us know down below. You know what I'm saying? If you know about the SWIFT case.
But yeah, I think it's a thing where Russians won't be able to transfer the money internationally as easily as they were before they launched the attack. So just things that are gonna stop Russia from being able to trade money like efficiently as easily, innit? And yeah, that's gonna affect the Russian economy in a way. But
yeah, no, that's a good point. You guys, let us know how you think this whole shit is gonna like affect Russia's economy. Comment down below.
No, it's already affecting it in a negative way. But the thing is, Russia owns. I think they provide like certain percentage of the oil in Europe, and that's quite like substantial, innit? Like it matters, and that's literally the trump card. You know what I'm saying? Because the Europe needs that, and obviously I'm pretty sure
that's
they'll
edge.
play on that exactly.
So coming to the whole matter, what's your take on it? I say if you're talking to Vladimir Putin right now, camera now, what do you say to him?
I'd ask him what his end goal is, and I'd tell him, even if he does manage to conquer Ukraine and take control of the country,
is it worth the bad vibes?
Like, what next? Exactly, because the whole world is against Russia right now.
Facts. Because
of social media, and mainly because of social media. But so like, what's next? You know what I'm saying?
100%.
What do you gain from doing this?
No cap. You guys, that's what you think about the whole case. You know what I'm saying? How would it affect Russia? How it's gonna affect Ukraine? And how it's gonna potentially affect us? Comment down below.
But if you were in that situation, not even that. Let's say we eventually go into World War III. Are you taking the guns up or what? Are you fighting?
You guys comment down below what you'll do. For me, to be honest with you,
man's gonna bounce.
This guy, boy.
Man's running back to Nigeria. First class ticket.
Hey, listen, there's no place like home, innit? There's no place like the motherland. All my Africans should go there and check the motherland. But back into this, what would I do, fam?
Well,
I'll probably go back home, man.
I want to tell Boris to chill. Like, listen, don't do anything crazy. Some people are not trying to be involved in this war. You know, we're not ready. We're not ready for this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in condition for it. You know what I'm saying? So if it ever gets to that, trust me, we're not prepared. I heard a post on the internet that said Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London, for those who don't know, said that in the case of a nuclear war, London would be prepared, fam. And I saw that, I was like, yo, who's my man speaking for, fam? Because I ain't ready.
What's he talking about?
And as far as I know, my people ain't ready. I don't know what the fuck I'll do.
He's speaking for himself.
Bro, what would you do if there was a whole nuclear attack, fam?
But what can you do, fam?
That's what I'm saying, brother. Like,
just have to cut.
Cut where though, bro? That shit's radioactive, boy. That's following you
wherever you go. Fam. But the thing is, like, we can't even think about these things, innit? Because
it's never happened to us.
And it's like, fam, you can't even be thinking about the unexpected in terms of when it's gonna happen. You don't know when it's gonna happen, so you can't exactly plan ahead. So it's like,
that's true. But now we know that it could potentially happen, so we could kind of like do our research, I guess. And
hey, if you shoot the next podcast in Ghana, you know why, innit?
No cap.
Yeah, man. Moving on. Fresh music dropped this week, man. What albums were you fucking with?
Central C's album was on.
Hey, big up Central C, man. Big up the UK.
By the way,
for real.
By the way, just before we end
this, get off your chest.
Before we end this topic, man.
Prayer goes out to Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly. More power to Ukraine, and whoever is caught up in this situation without wanting to be in it. Same goes for the Russians who don't want to be involved, because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of them who disagreed with Putin's decisions, but obviously because they live in Russia, everyone kind of generalizes everyone, and we look at Russia as a whole and think everyone in the country is the enemy, which is not the case. So prayers for everyone who's on the good side, man.
Yeah, whole cap, man.
And if you can help in any way, I'm pretty sure there's like
no cap
sites where you can donate.
Hey, check the link in the description. Might drop a few links there.
Exactly.
So look out for that.
But yeah, man, let's move on to a lighter subject.
Come on, bro.